Going. Okay, good morning, everybody. Turn on your cameras if you can. Appreciate you guys being here. First Tuesday of the month, first Tuesday of March. I'm actually back in Indiana, so I'm out of my normal confines of Colorado there. Back here, my mom had back surgery yesterday, so came back here to help her out, and she gets out of the hospital tomorrow. At least that's what it's looking like. So anyway, I'm heading over there. I'm at a friend's house right now, a buddy of mine from college. So anyway, heading over there tomorrow and then taking her home and probably gonna be here for a couple of weeks helping her out. So anyway, it's the beauty of the EXP model, I guess, allows us to have some freedom and move around when we need to. So I'm grateful for that for sure. But guys, thanks for jumping on. We do this every Tuesday. If you're a guest with us from another company, this is open to everybody, all companies, all agents everywhere. We open this up. And so it's just, the first Tuesday, we open it up for anything and everything. Any topics, any questions that people have, we'll just have some good discussion. And it's always good to see, some of the icon agents jumping on here to, help us out, some of the things that they're working on, things with their groups, whatever. So, always good to do that. So, any quick announcements, Kim, that we need to make? Need to touch on? Hold on, we got some echoes. Turn off your mics, guys, if you can. Just be aware of that. We're going to hear background
I
music.
was looking to speak with Gabby Durante.
There we go. Any announcements, Kim, that we need to make? That am I missing anything?
Except I hope everybody knows about our KV Core Mastery because it is booming.
There you go. Tell everybody about it real quick. Why don't you fill everybody in on that? Can you do that?
Yeah. If you're interested in using your KV Core, it can be overwhelming because it's a big thing. This thing can do all kinds of stuff. And so what we do is we break it down for you, and it's one-on-one coaching with some group coaching just to help you get from where you're at to where you want to be, and tackle this thing piece by piece and get you started with it.
For sure. It's a powerful tool, guys. If you haven't set it up or aren't using it, whatever, we can help you do that. Kim has learned it backwards and forwards, and so she's helping a lot of people. I'm still working on some things, Kim, but I haven't forgotten about you. I promise. She's helping me kind of get some things going with mine. I use it barely, whatever, but I need to be using it more. So anyway, guys, again, first Tuesday, we'll just open this up and we'll get some discussion. I don't know if anybody has anything in particular you want to start with. Any particular situation with the deal you've got working right now, or a question about the market or marketing, or just anything and everything. This is just kind of a free-for-all, the first Tuesday of the month. So does anybody have anything just to start us out with that anybody wants to open it up and share? Anybody? Kim, go ahead.
Now, can I ask what's working for you?
Yeah. What's working for people?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I mean, the market has shifted. I mean, I will tell you, in Colorado Springs, we're definitely seeing things pick up. I don't know if, I don't know what it's like across the country. It'd be good to hear from some of you guys, different places, but I know out there, it feels like early spring, as far as the season, with real estate. We're definitely, I know my wife, she got 2 people under contract 2 weeks ago, and there were, don't forget to mute yourself there. But there were multiple offers. I mean, we were competing again, which was unusual. I know my next door neighbor, he's been a RE/MAX agent for 25 years probably. His dad owned the brokerage, whatever. And we were out in the front yard talking last week, and he's got a buyer looking up to $1 million, and they've been beat out on 3 properties, which I was like, wow, that's interesting. Even that price range, so that's what we're seeing some things pick up for sure in the Springs, in Colorado Springs. But again, I don't know what that's like across the country. I'm back in Indianapolis right now, and I was with a lady yesterday. She hasn't had a closing in 4 or 5 months now, and said that there's just still such a lack of supply, I think, everywhere, which I think is why we're just not going to see the crash that the media keeps talking about. And home buyers even say, I'm waiting on the crash. It's like we're not going to see a crash, in my opinion. I mean, I think, certain markets, we're seeing some adjustments in prices, but, as far as a crash, there's too few homes for sale. Supply and demand is keeping the prices of the homes, I think, going to keep them up here and even increasing, maybe at a lower rate than what they've been the last few years. We're kind of going back to a more normal market. I've been saying that for the last few months, and I still believe that. Michael, can you unmute yourself, Higdon? Because,
Sure.
Michael's an icon agent back there in Kentucky. What are you seeing? I mean, would you agree with that? What are you seeing back there where you are?
I 100% agree with what you were saying, and people are always asking me, "Hey, when's the market going to crash?" And I tell them two things have to happen. And Jeff, you've been through the down market of the 2008, 2009s, and two things happened. One, you had to have a huge run up of inventory, which we haven't had. In fact, ours has stayed low, and even low before pre-COVID. And we've only got 1,500 active properties on the market right now. That's single family residential. The other piece to that, the second thing, is the rates have to run up as well. Now, we've had that piece of it, but I look back when I bought my first house back in 2001, I had a 6.5% rate, and I was excited about that, and then that progressively got lower as I grew up and got married and went to my next house. I think that was 4.25%, and then we went to 3.75, and now we timed it in 2020 when we moved to be a 2.5%. So it's all relative to the time. And I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I don't see in the tea leaves where we're gonna have that big market crash. Just because, one, we don't have the inventory to do that. And I know in our town, we're kind of like an island in the Pacific. We don't get affected by the big run-ups like the populated states of California, the Arizonas, the Floridas, the Texases, like that. So yeah, I don't see I listed two properties last week on a Tuesday. One was 640. The other one was 599. And the one sold for the 640 sold for 660 by 5 o'clock that day. The other one at 590 sold for 590 by 5 o'clock that day. So two full price offers on a very, what I would say, above average sale price range for us in this market. So now we still have a sweet spot of 250, probably to 375 in our market. But, if people ask me, how's the market? I'm like, that's a very house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood question that I can't cover with one blanket statement.
Right. To go back to Kim's question, what's working for you right now? Is there anything in particular that you're doing, like marketing wise, or
consistency? Consistency. Okay. So I still prospect every day. I'm making to 20 to 30 contacts every day, and I drill down from expireds, cancels. We don't have a lot of those, so I cover those quickly within about 10, 15 minutes, and then I move on to estates and probates, which we've had several calls in the past on. Those still work every single month. There's a new list of those that shows up. Not to sound morbid, but it's a recession-proof business. I'll get a listing or two every single month from making those calls. And then from the sales that I've had last year, I'm calling back into those markets, just sold calls, and having a very pointed, "Hey, I sold a property down the street from you last year for this price range. Are you guys moving? Do you know anybody's looking to move?" Yeah. And then, of course, sphere of influence is always 50 to 60% of mine. So I call 2 letters of the alphabet every week in my database and just give them a market update and find out what's going on. I have upped my social media presence a little bit. So that's become more consistent. I'm getting some good feedback from that. I can't really assign any new deals or transactions from it, but it's free. Putting your face out there and putting that message out there of value, some type of value entertainment. Why people don't do it is beyond me. I think it's an ego-based thing, but putting messages out there and consistently making contacts every single day, you can't not be successful by doing that.
Yeah. Consistency. You said it. I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think, every day going after it. And guys, if you haven't seen it, if you're new, I know Andy, you're new to EXP, whatever, anybody, guys, if you want this, if you go back, go to the Freedom Team website, freedomteamsupport.com, or you can also go to the workplace group, but go back and find Michael's mastermind we did with him back on, it's probably been 10, 11 months ago, I'm guessing, I don't know, somewhere in there, but he did one on probates. And how many, I mean, again, you said that you've been doing that for a long time. How many closings did you have last year on probate? Any idea? Approximately the last couple of years?
I'd say 13 to 14 were estates last year. So they make up, I'd say, a third to 2/3 of my business, not 2/3, but about a third of my business.
Yeah.
Sphere of influence is my biggest one, which it should be for every person in real estate. Your sphere should be biggest producer, but yeah, 20 to 30% of my business comes from those. And that's just, again, probably 1 to 2 every month.
Yeah.
Is what I
For
see.
sure.
So who wouldn't want, 12 to 24 new deals in their business?
Yeah. Probates. And again, like you said, I mean, not to be, morbid about it, but it's a business that's never going away. I mean, it's whether there's regardless of the economy, and people need help with it. That's the thing. You're providing a great service for people when they get into that situation. So anyway, good stuff there. And it reminds me also, guys, tomorrow, Stephanie Gillazon is doing part 2 of her short sales training. Part 1 was last week, which was kind of a repeat of what she did on our Tuesday training about a month ago. And we had we had more feedback on that than we've had in a long time. Almost 100 people on there. So she wanted to take that further because she has a 4-part series that she's done for her group. That was just the first piece of it. So tomorrow it'll be all new content, digging into number 2, part 2 tomorrow, part 3 next Wednesday, part 4 the last Wednesday of the month. So Stephanie's doing that same time, right, Kim? Same time? I think so. Yeah. Same time and same Zoom link. You can find out more details or invite people to it if you go to learnshortsales.live. Okay. Learnshortsales.live is the website where you can register for it. But you can also get, anybody, you can invite any agent out there to come join us on that. So that'll be awesome. But there's lots of different, departments here, whatever, that you can kind of plug into to just, continue to bring in business. So, Michael, we'll probably come back to you in a little bit. Jamie, are you still on? Yeah, Jamie. Because I know Jamie's got a meeting coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, Jamie's an Icon agent down in Atlanta. He's also done some training for us. What's working for you right now, Jamie? What are you seeing?
All right. So one of the things I would like to give you guys the 411 on is USDA financing. If you've not, I'd never done a USDA deal until like last October. And so from that USDA deal, the loan officer directly with USDA, not some other bank, like me as an agent, and I have 2 under contract with her that had bad agents or agents she didn't like or that weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, where she had already approved the buyers and everything. And the beauty of it is, one, these are already pre-approved, ready to go people. I literally showed one house to each one of them. They were already ready to go. In fact, I didn't even show the house. I didn't even have to go there because they're all over the state. Yeah, so they're not like literally in Atlanta. They're, one's like 2 hours away and the other one's like an hour and a half away. Use the EXP leverage. I have an Icon agent helping me with the walkthrough on the new construction on one of them later this week. I'm paying her $150 to do the walkthrough, just using EXP's network. But here's what I want to tell you: USDA, my one that's closing next, that's going to be closing. It's sometime this month. Because she had applied with USDA a while ago, she's getting a 3.5% interest rate. The regular USDA interest rate right now was 4.25 for my other buyer. And then, so there are income limits and cap limits and acreage limits and so on and so forth. But you can work directly with the USDA with a loan officer. Now, it does, if you go that route, it takes a while. USDA is really short staffed. The government cut their budget in half and they're on a hiring freeze. So, I put someone who wasn't in a rush with them back in like November, and we're still not through the process yet. But it's going to be worth the wait for her, because to get 4.25 versus what's on the market right now, and she's willing to be in, and some of the areas are not as rural as you think. Like the one we just sold, I mean, they're 4 miles from a grocery store. I mean, you're considered rural based on their statistics, but you're still have shopping and stuff readily available. The one of them I'm selling is just 20 minutes from Augusta National, where the Masters is at. 20 minutes away, you can get a USDA 100% financed house. So that's one option. And then there's another option for USDA that they just increased the price limits that you can go up. You have to go through a bank with this, but you can go like up to even, they said they could buy $1 million properties in some areas on USDA. Well, they're trying to get people, I guess, to come more out of the city into the areas of no acreage requirements and stuff like that. So check into the USDA program if you've not done one. A lot of them are not that far outside of your metro areas. If you're in a metro area, a lot of them are within 30 minutes, 45 minutes of the metro area. So you don't really have to be out in the middle of nowhere. So that's one thing that has been working. So this would be my second and third USDA deal this month. And now I've become friends with that loan officer, and I'm hoping, I say, hey, tell all your other loan officers about me too. We'll be happy to, to work those deals and help those who don't have good agents. And, here's the thing about too, is what is the difference between like what we do, what a good agent does, and what a good agent does, what other agents do. I was floored when one of the clients sent me an address to two different properties. And I said, hey, do you want to look at one today? She said, what do you mean we can look at one today? And I was like, yeah, you want to go see something today? And she was like, yeah. And we ended up getting it. That's literally the only property she looked at. She saw it, loved it, fell in love, boom, we're done. But whoever she had worked with him wasn't being accommodating. So the biggest thing to be successful is you have to be accommodating. You have to remember, most of your clients, they work, they have jobs. This is our job, but everybody else, for the most part, is going to have some kind of a 9 to 5, or we have to be accommodating within reason to our clients. So that's one thing that is working. So definitely USDA has added some deals to my pipeline, and I'm going to continue to work that because I just love, it's a great win-win for the client. To be able to get that kind of an interest rate right now is amazing. And then the other thing, I'll throw it out there, and you guys can PM me later. But I was the first USDA deal. I do have some contacts in with HGTV. That's about all I can say right now. If you're interested in being on one of those type of shows, I do have some contacts that I could get you guys in. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But it's going to be great for marketing and stuff in the future, and it's a really fun to do all the filming and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in doing that, I definitely know the people there for that can help. So
Let me real quick, Jamie, because I know you're gonna have to leave here in a few minutes. Because the USDA thing, I know, Sean Corbett asked you, I was the same way. Like, how do you work directly with USDA? How's that work? It's not, I haven't even heard of that, to be honest.
So I didn't know it either. So I got a guy that moved from New York that someone, I still don't even know who gave me, how my name got to him, but somehow he knows somebody who knew me, who said I was a good agent. And all of a sudden he said, well, I'm approved with the USDA. And I was like, and he gave me the loan officer's name. So USDA actually has loan officers that work directly for them. Okay. So for the lower income level program that they have, whether they're income caps, there's acreage caps. When we did it, there was even like a square footage cap, like it couldn't be over 2,000 square feet. So, it was very restrictive, but my guy got a 3.2, I think. Well, it may have even been less than that. It may have been 3 when we closed in October. And I was like, how are you doing this? And she said, well, they're subsidizing the rates so they can populate these more rural areas, or what they consider to be more rural areas. I don't consider them rural, to be honest with you.
Right.
The place when my first buyer bought was in Sonoya. That's where The Walking Dead was filmed. I don't watch that show, but apparently a lot of other people do. So if you watch that show, that's where it's filmed, and that's where they bought. And so that was the first. I didn't know you could do USDA without going through a regular loan officer or regular bank. But if you guys are interested, I could definitely get you hooked up with my girl, or I could definitely ask my girl, whatever state you're in, and see who you would need to work with and who you need to get in contact with. Because here's the thing, once they get to these loan officers' desks, these buyers are approved. They're approved for funding. They're approved for 2 years too. They're not just approved. Like my guy got approved during COVID and just bought. and they basically lock that funding in for him the entire time. Now, I understand funding can fluctuate, so getting that funding and getting that money earmarked for your particular person, can be a thing. So I didn't know how to get in with the USDA until this actually just happened. That I just happened to get a client that was working with them directly. So, but I can definitely ask the person I'm working with in your state, to see how you could possibly get more deals, possibly get some more deals, and make sure you present yourself as a resource. Hey, if you got somebody, I mean, in both of these cases, that other agent didn't even have buyer brokerage agreements signed with these people. So, because I'd asked that, that's like the first thing you ask. Hey, do you have a buyer brokerage agreement? They're like, what is that? I was like, okay, I guess you
Right.
don't.
Make sure,
I
make
guess you
sure
don't. So,
make sure you open your chat box, because I've posted some links to what the USDA considers a rural area and how to find your
yes.
state USDA office.
Yes, and there are maps, and
Thank you,
so
Kim.
the biggest thing, thank you, Kim. The biggest thing too that I found that was super helpful for me, I don't always have time to look at the map, but I would just text the loan officer. I was like, hey, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? So any property we were considering, typically the buyer would actually reach to the loan officer and check, and then, or they would go on the website and check it, and then, so whatever we were looking at, there was just really good communication between the buyer, me, and the loan officer for the different properties as we were going. The first one was harder than these last two were just kind of give me's, but the first one we did actually look at 3 or 4 different properties, and we did have to go through that whole process of making sure these particular addresses were good, and then also met the confines of the square footage, the acreage, all that other stuff. It wasn't just that the address was good. It has to meet all those other criteria to be considered A-okay.
Okay. Is there any certification or anything like that that has to happen to work with the US?
Not that
Okay.
I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm not aware of anything. I'm sure somebody does a CE class on USDA. I'm sure there's some continuing education out there somewhere. And I'm sure NAR probably, if you want to pay, they always want your money. I'm sure there's some kind of certification
Yeah.
out there for that. But yep.
Let me put it out real quick, guys, because I know Jamie's gonna have to leave here in a minute. He's on his way to an appointment right now. Does anybody have any questions specifically for Jamie about that or anything else? Again, he's an icon agent down in Atlanta. Jamie, thanks for sharing all that stuff, because it's not something I've even heard of before. But does anybody have any questions on that USDA program just right now? It's just brand new to me. It's not something I've heard of. Anybody? Cool. Okay. What else
Before
is
I get
yeah,
off,
go ahead,
Jeff,
Jamie. Yeah, go ahead.
if you're not, this is a totally different topic. You don't have to raise hands or anything, but if you've not registered for the regional rally, you guys need to do so. If you're on this call, that means you're interested in increasing your real estate business. And so you definitely need to make sure that you register for the real estate rally in an area. There's one within 4 hours of pretty much every major city. There's a whole bunch of them going on. Going to be the week of March 20th. So I know Michelle is on this call right here. She's been super instrumental in getting all this stuff rocking and rolling. I've been helping with Atlanta. I'm going to be the MC for the Charlotte one, me and another icon. I know the Atlanta event is going to have Icon of the Year, Paula Snow is going to be there. It's a recognition event and it's not a recruiting event. No recruiting allowed. Michelle, do you want to say anything for, because I know you've been like with Jay and Ashley, like their right hand person. Just want to give you your props because you're doing awesome.
Well, thank you. No, I think that you pretty well covered it. It's definitely an opportunity for agents to be recognized on stage. If you've sold your very first house with EXP, you get to stand up and be recognized. If you are a half capper, you haven't yet capped, you get to be recognized. It's not all about that agent who is selling 20, 30 homes a year. It's actually about those of us who are down in the trenches, maybe haven't capped yet. So it's an opportunity for everyone to be recognized. There's gonna be a lot of photographs taken and a lot of social media. It's, I think, 15 cities around the country. So there's probably one pretty close to just about everybody. it's a great opportunity for EXP to shine and show off their agents.
It's going to be good. There's going to be some training. A lot of them have corporate people coming into Denver. We have Sean Murphy coming in. I know Glenn Sanford's coming to California, I think, to speak.
He'll be at the Los Angeles one.
Los Angeles. Yeah. A lot of the corporate
and
guys are coming out. Dave Kennard's going out. And yeah. So
yeah, we have Amy Weaver for Charlotte and Atlanta. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be fun. So just definitely make sure you guys get your tickets. Encourage your other EXP agents to get your tickets, because no other company is doing something like this. So I don't know about y'all, but if you're tired of seeing all the KW agents with their yard signs in their yard, this is our counterattack. All the Remax agents, all the other people with those signs that are in their yard that they get to post on social media. This is your time where you get to walk across stage. You're going to get your sign that you're in the top, whatever, that you did this or you did that. And think of how powerful that's going to be for your social media. One last thing I'll say before I go. Speaking of social media, let me give you a quick tip. On Facebook, you know how it has the memories on Facebook, right? Go back through your memories and say there was a post. Facebook, for whatever reason, the algorithm, every time you post something like, dude, you got some award or everything, it always puts it out there on more people's timelines for whatever reason. Do not respond to every comment right away. Okay, go back through some of those older posts, start responding to comments you have not responded to, and watch what will happen. Literally, I had like something from 2020 that said I was in the top 1% for Georgia. I responded to a comment. All of a sudden, I got 5 or 6 new comments of congratulations. Nobody looking to see if it said 2020.
moves it back
Even my
up into the
icon that I
top.
got like last year for icon number 3, and I just hit icon number 4. But when icon number 3, it was still popping up. I responded to a couple more comments because there was probably, I think I had over 500 likes and 100. And I don't get that kind of feedback on every post. I wish I did, but yeah, I responded to a few more of them that I hadn't responded to. All of a sudden, I probably got another 15 or 20 comments, and it pushed me over 500 likes on that post. And that's an old post. That's something that I did last year, so go back through some of these older posts. When you have a new closing, and you see them, don't respond to every comment the same day. Spread those comments out, because what's going to start to happen, Facebook is looking for conversations. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for conversations. And so here's what happens is that when you're out and about, and I was just out at something, and someone in my area is like, man, you're just absolutely killing it. I see everything you're doing on social media. That you're giving out that impression, even, and it's just, some of it is just stuff that you've already done. It's not even stuff that yeah, fortunately, I'm still currently doing that, but you can keep going with stuff that you've already accomplished in your past just by keeping recycling, just basically responding to comments. So that's, I was on something, somebody had told me that, I tried it out, and I was actually on with one of my marketing people, and we just tried it right there on the spot. He was like, holy cow, all of a sudden you just wrote a comment, now it's in my Facebook feed, like boom, instantaneously. So keep trying that and trying to do that to go ahead and increase your comments and increase your interaction. I don't know if it works on Instagram or the other platforms, but I know definitely on Facebook, I know I've done better for me personally. I don't know about y'all, but on Facebook seems to do better, like getting real estate clients and leads versus Instagram or some of the other platforms. So
Yeah.
There we go.
I know it'll take that old post and puts it back up into people's timeline all of a sudden,
Yeah,
because then
it's
you get all these
crazy.
other people comment on it. Yeah, I've seen that too. That's good.
Yeah. So
So
there you go.
Guys, any other questions for Jamie before he takes off? Anything at all? I appreciate everything you shared. And Michelle, she put the website there in the chat, expreregionalrally.com. Okay, and people can register on there. Michelle, is that right? To go to that? Okay, it's coming up the week of March 20th is when they're happening all across the country. So cool. Good. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jamie.
No problem.
USDA. I've got to look into that because that's not something I've even thought about or heard about. So that's good. Jolynn, can you unmute yourself? Do you mind? Not to put you on the spot. You're up there in Montana, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Hey, everybody.
Cool. So what, talk about it. What's going on with you up there? What are you seeing that's working for you guys right now up that way?
So the market's a little bit interesting here. And we again, like with everybody, we don't have enough inventory. Anything under 350, of course, is being swooped in on multiple offers. I put a listing up for 960 the other day. We are actually getting showings on it, but it's not quite done. It's new construction. So we'll kind of see how that works. I will say my big struggle personally, though, is still trying. I've been a buyer heavy agent for years, 60-40 split, 60% buyer agent, 40% seller agent listings, but I'm still struggling with the whole interest rate situation with my clients. I'm spending a lot of time massaging that, obviously doing 2-to-1 buy downs, working with lenders. I have really great preferred lenders that I'm referring them to, and they're walking them through all the 2-to-1 buy down stuff. But for some reason, you guys, I tend to work with a lot of, strangely, a lot of young guys. We have a lot of minds here. We have minds and the Exxon and different things. So I work with a lot of young guys, and they still are wrapping their head around it. And so I'm struggling with that. So if anybody has any suggestions on that, I would appreciate it. That tends to be my biggest thing. I want to wait. So I'm tending to do these whole graphs of, if you wait 5 years, then this, and here's what you're missing out on appreciation. And I feel like I'm going down the rabbit hole of too much information. And I'm trying to figure out how to be more concise about it to get them to really pull the trigger, because rents keep creeping up. I'm a landlord. I own several rentals. I know what rents are. And so we talk about that, but I'm feeling like I still want to wait, but I really want to buy, and I'm struggling with that. So any suggestions are appreciated.
Just got a comment on that. Any thoughts on that? To get somebody basically to get in the mode of buying now versus what are they waiting on, Jolene?
Like interest rates, it's still the whole adage of, gosh, my buddy bought his house for, you helped him and it was 3.5% or 3%, but now it's 7%. I can't, and so on. Then I have my whole little graphs that I've created that are, here's what it looks like if you buy now. Yes, here's the interest rate between 5 and 7%. Yes, it's $500. It might be $500 difference. However, if you wait 5 years on a $400,000 house, based on appreciation, you're at 486. And so, I do all of these things, but it's that whole number. It's the tangibleness of, but I only want to pay this right now. And even though they can afford it, that's the thing, they can afford it. Right. And so it's just that whole, but he got this. And I was like, I hear you, kind of thing. So that
I've got good feedback for that. I've got good feedback for that. Yeah. So I use the same scenario. I've done this a number of times. Last summer we were getting 3.5, right? But you paid 5% more than you're paying now for the house. On a $500,000 house, that's $25,000 that it's gone. You can't refinance it.
Right.
So that's the language that we use with buyers today. Say, I would rather not give up the $25,000 even at a 3.5% interest rate than save that $25,000 and get a 6.5% interest rate today, because I can always refinance. You can't refinance principal lost.
Okay.
You can't refinance principal lost. So that's the lesson for them.
Okay. Can you put that in writing for me?
I can text something or in the chat. Oh,
that'd be great. Thank you. I feel like I do all sorts of things. I feel like I do all sorts, and you guys, I've been doing this for 8 years. I mean, I'm super buyer heavy, and I always feel like, gosh, I've got this. And then it just takes those few that are like, you have me stumped. And it's just that price point of, it's the $300,000 to $400,000 price point, right? Those are the struggles. Over 5, they're like, I got this, I'm fine, I'll refi, I'm cool, that kind of thing. It's just that's the struggle.
Yeah. I've used this right here with some people, and just to help try and explain that. And Sean, I mean, it's kind of along the lines of what you were. I showed this somebody. I showed this to somebody at a Christmas party that we had at our house, several months ago, and they were looking to renew their lease in January for a year and just wait. And they actually closed in February. Because and honestly, this right here is like, wow, they had no idea, because and trying to help them see, like, you're paying 100% interest right now if you're renting. I
Right.
mean, that's the truth of that.
Yeah.
But this right here, 6 months ago, whatever, this is like, $450,000 house, you're going to pay 500 because you're competing and all that stuff. 10% down, the rates are lower. Here's your monthly payment. Today, you can get that house for probably 425, whatever,
Mhm.
because the market the way it is. The rate's
Right.
higher, but you're only paying, $15 difference in
Right.
terms of the monthly payment, which is really
Yeah.
what buyers are concerned about when you get right down to it. And you just
Mhm.
saved $75,000 off the price from what it would have sold for 6 months ago. Yeah, and
Right.
again, this is just a scenario, but it's kind of like this
Mhm.
is what we've been doing. So that's been helping. I got that on my phone. I just emailed it to myself so I could, show you guys. But
Right.
I have that on my phone, and I've pulled that up
Right.
several times
And
when I get into conversations with people about
all just a
the
couple
current
years too.
market, that kind of stuff. So
Right.
anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know if
No,
something like that's helpful.
yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, there's just, you're always going to have those few that kind of stump you, right? And that's where I feel like I'm at. But as far as everything else, I was out of the market for a little bit because I was taking care of my mom last fall. She had passed away. But anyway, long and short of it. So I kind of feel like I'm getting back in, but social media has been huge for me. I got a call yesterday, just he saw my Google ad and he's a buy and a sell. And so I will say social media and my sphere, of course, are my two biggest
Right.
pushers. And
Oh,
so.
That's awesome. Very cool. I do think, Jillian, some of what you're saying too, and we've talked about it on these monthly, masterminds like this, just, really keeping yourself educated on the market, the state of the market, keeping current matters is a great way to do that. I do like that. I just kind of follow, they have a month, every Monday, they put out kind of a weekly update and it's about 15 minutes long. I watch the Zoom, they give you all the slides. Brad actually posted one of those slides over here in the comments in the chat. But just, it's a great way to keep up on things so you can educate the clients because again, most people are just watching the news, reading the headlines, and it paints this picture that's just not true. I heard somebody yesterday, I was at this coffee shop and, I got talking to some people. I was waiting on this agent to come in, here in Indianapolis. And they were talking about just the foreclosures, whatever. Oh my God, you keep hearing about all this foreclosure wave that's coming. It's like, again, it's like you go back to 2008, there were 2 million foreclosures. In the fourth quarter of last year, we had 88,000. Like we're not even close. We're not even close to 2008. It's a completely different market. But again, if you here's these people like, we're waiting on the foreclosure wave to come so we can buy. Again, for investments, that kind of stuff, I get it. But if you're looking to make a move and get out of renting, like we're not going into this big foreclosure wave. Will there be more? Yeah, more than what there's been the last couple of years because there was a moratorium on them. Whatever. But we're going back to 2019, 2018, which again, just normal years. There's always going to be those foreclosures. We're nowhere near going back to the 2008 days. We're not even close to that. So, but here's what people are waiting for because this is what the media wants to project out there, which again, I just don't believe any of it is true. So anyway. Cool. Andy, can you unmute yourself real quick? Because I know you're up there with Lynn up there in Montana. How long have you been an agent, Andy?
I've been
3
agent.
years.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong Andy. Andy, I'll come back to you. Sorry.
Good.
No, Andy, so 3 years?
3 years.
Okay, cool. Do you work with Jolynn? Are you guys together or just you're separate agents up there?
No, we're separate agents. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. How's it going for you? Because again, you come in, of course, here's things are riding high, and all of a sudden now we are on this big shift. How are things going for you as far as just with your business? What concerns?
Well, for me, sorry, I started out part-time, just trying to get myself going. And just the last 2 years, I've had some life events that have kind of taken me away. So for me, it's been kind of slow, but I keep tabs on what's going on. Listening to Jolynn, I totally agree with what she was saying. But for me, I'm not a good person to talk to right now because I'm not quite into it like others, but I'm still at the learning phase.
For sure. Well, and it's a great time, again, there's so much to learn right now. I mean, I think, having done this for 21 years, these shifts in the market, it's a great time to really, refine yourself, really pick, some niches, get focused on trainings. You can become an expert in certain areas. And when again, Stephanie short sale training, I mean, there's, that's a great way to just become an expert in that. There's a lot of people, we haven't done them for years. So there's a lot of new agents the last 5-6 years. they don't even know what a short sale is, a lot of them,
Right.
so Stephanie's training, tomorrow and the next, 3 Wednesdays, is going to, again, a great way to just pick up that and become an expert in that. And you can, definitely pick up some business. I don't know if you watched last week, but she had a, great training last week and
Yes, I did.
whatever,
That
how to find us. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an eye opener.
For sure. So definitely tune in tomorrow for part 2. Let me go to Andy down there in Louisville. Can you mute yourself, Andy? I know you started to there before. There you go. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Thank you. Good morning.
Good. Thanks for coming on. Can you turn on your camera? I saw it on there. You go. Very cool. So you're an Icon agent down in Louisville. What's working for you right now in this
Just
market? What are you doing?
staying consistent. That's always worked, and I think is my bread and butter. Follow up. Past clients, sphere of influence. Just touch people as often as you can, and you'll stay busy.
For sure. Good. Do you work down there with Stephanie and Michael?
Stephanie's my sponsor. 2019 July. Thank you. Hey, Stephanie. Good morning.
There you go.
2019 in July, she brought me on TXP, and it's been a blessing. I'm a solo agent, me, myself, and I. No teams for me, right? So I do have a downline, but no teams. So
Yeah. No, good for you.
Mhm.
Well,
Hey, I want to say something, Jeff, about Andy,
Sure.
because
Absolutely.
here's a guy in 2019 who had a full-time corporate job, right? He didn't need to make a change, but he wanted to set his own hours and so forth. And I'll never forget that day that he came in and I said, look, all you got to do is this. And that when we talked about consistency, right? The reason why Andy's successful and he went from 0 to Icon in like 8 months is because of consistency. He has no fear when it comes to asking for business because he understands the worst thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to say no. But he also understands that no means for that moment. It might be yes the next day, right? And so it's consistency. But also he's done something really cool. We just had a commercial closing together yesterday because he started to have those conversations. He's built this amazing sphere of influence. And even if he's not an expert, he has no fear about reaching out to somebody who may be and say, hey, let's do this deal. So he can learn enough to go then do the next deal, right? Because that closing we had yesterday is leading already to a 1031 exchange where he's got to go find another purchase for this person, And so it's having conversation. Never be fearful to ask for business and tell people what it is you do because he brings value every time he opens his mouth. We both will agree, right, Andy? Neither of us are ever the smartest person in the room, but by God, they think we are. Am I right?
You're right.
That's awesome. Well, and it goes back. I knew you weren't on here, Stephanie, at the very beginning. Michael Higdon, also,
Yeah. Michael's
I said,
badass.
well, and I asked him, I said, what's working for you? And he said, consistency. That was the first thing he said, whatever. And so
he's in my downline too. These Louisville guys are rock stars, right?
There you go. That's awesome. It's so key, guys. Yesterday, and I shared this. I was, I don't know if you watched the video this morning, the tip of the day that we're sending out every day. But yesterday, again, get out and have those conversations. I was at a Starbucks in a Barnes and Noble for like 5 hours yesterday. I'm here in Indianapolis, whatever, and I had a few agents that I was meeting while I was here. And between appointments, sitting, literally next to me at this table, there's 3 people sitting there. And next thing you know, I'm on my computer, I'm doing stuff, I'm making calls, and I hear them start talking real estate. And so anyway, I had some time and I said, hey, not trying to intrude, not trying to interrupt you guys, whatever. But, I'm a realtor, we got talking. We just got talking about real estate. And I had my card. I gave him my card. It's going to lead to a referral, that I'm going to hook up with an EXP agent back here in Indianapolis. And it was just having that conversation. So get out. When I first got into this business, I remember sitting in the office. And one of the ladies that came into me, she's like, my broker keeps telling me I got to get out of the office. Yeah, you're never going to get business sitting in the office. You'll have a lot of talks with conversations with other realtors who aren't doing anything either, because that's why they're in the office. Like, get out of the office. Go to the coffee shops, go to Panera, go to places where people are, and you can do most of your business right there with your laptop, making your calls. You will hear conversations going on. People are talking about the economy. They're talking about real estate. They're talking about the market. We're coming into the season where they're going to be making moves. There will be people still making moves this spring and summer regardless of the rates, regardless of the economy, all this stuff. Some people have to for different reasons, whatever. And you're going to hear those conversations, but you'll never hear them by sitting in the office or sitting at home, on your computer, waiting on the phone to ring. Get out, and you can do most of what you're doing by just being out there, and you will hear things and you'll pick up business. My very first deal came from sitting in a Starbucks. First 21 years ago, sitting in a Starbucks, I overheard, these two people talking, and one of them was military here in Colorado Springs, and they're getting, transferred to a base in Utah. And, I went over, I introduced myself, whatever. And that night I got a call from the husband. He's like, yeah, I hear you're a realtor and you met my wife today at Starbucks. Can we set a time for you to come by the house? Next thing I'm over there and I list the house, and I put the sign in front of the wrong yard. How's that? I put the sign in front of the wrong house, my first listing. How's that? That's not good, is it, Stephanie? That's a screw up right there. We all have those. Anyway, I still got the listing though. I figured that out before they found it. I got it moved. Anyway. So, what other thoughts, guys? What are other questions? We got about 15 minutes here. We'll jump in. What's working for you guys? Sean, Corbett, I know you jumped in there with a couple comments. Can you unmute yourself? Icon agent down there in Texas. There you go. Thanks, Sean. What's working for you right now? What are you seeing with things?
Yeah, like November and December were terrible. I'm back to, I normally run. Right now, I've got about 17 transactions, and they come from all over. I mean, all over. And all of my houses are gone. I had 12 listings. Right now, I got 2. So, I mean, that's good. I need to start turning the inventory from some of my investors. I like to diversify. I think doing that with certain clients, I'd share with anyone, if you can have 1 or 2 solid investors that you can keep happy, you can run high volume and very little work. Even if you give them a deal, it's all about efficiency. It's all about increasing your dollars per hour. I've told a lot of you, I don't work weekends or evenings. I work probably about 4 to 6 hours a day. And I work primarily with people that I don't have to spend a lot of time with. I'm a little less warm and fuzzy, as you can probably tell. I'm normally pretty easy about making things happen and bringing deals out. It's not for all realtors, but it's certainly a market that I really enjoy. Is working with the investors. I invest in my own stuff. I do off market. It's a whole different class. I don't know if I would even teach this group about off market, but there's ways to make things happen where you can get a referral benefit in it without compromising you as an agent, without compromising EXP. There's ways to do it. It's not even something I train my agents. So that's another market I've played in that I've done incredibly well in. There's tips. My best tip right now is if you can get yourself an investor, you can typically make a lot more money per hour, even if you reduce your commission working with them, because especially if you can do multiple deals. I mean, that's my simple feedback.
Cool. Very cool. Any questions, guys, for, Michael, Andy, Stephanie, Sean? These icon agents that are on here, I appreciate you guys being on today. Any questions for them at all, as far as, what they're doing and anything? If not, I got a couple things I can share. Anybody else have any questions at all? Marketing questions, market questions, questions about a particular deal, anything at all at this point? If not, I'm going to share my screen. There's something I want to show you guys. Stephanie, were you going to say something? I'm sorry. No? Okay. I'm going to share my screen for just a minute and just give you guys one thing to think about. This is something that I'm starting to do. There's a group that I'm a part of, and I actually taught on this last week at the Wealth Summit. You can see the full training on there. But I want to share this because this is really starting to work well. So one of the things that just something you could do, okay, and this takes really 20 to 30 minutes a day. You can send out an unsolicited video CMA. Okay. And so I want you to think about this. So there's a guy in this group that again, that I'm been working with, whatever. And, doing this 30 minutes a day, sending out 5 videos a week, 1 a day. He sent out 72 videos, 3 to 5 minutes each. He got $11 million in new listings from doing this. Okay. It's a simple deal. So, to do this, make a list of, past clients your sphere, family, friends, all these different people you've met at open houses, and categorize them. Like, ones who just bought 6 months ago, they're going to go at the bottom of the list because they're not looking to move probably anytime soon. Somebody that maybe bought from you or they bought a house, 4, 5, 6 years ago, they're going to the top of the list. Okay. And you can arrange these the best that you know how. Open houses, I put them up there. They're out there looking. Okay. And what you do, you record this in either Zoom or Loom or BombBomb, somewhere like that, where you can share your screen. Because, you can do this on your own Zoom. Go on Zoom, share your screen, hit the record button, and you can record this 3 to 5 minute video. You don't have to edit it. You don't have to put music on it. Just keep it simple. I always start, and I've learned to do this, start with Google Earth. So I have that open. Okay. I've got their address typed in, but I've not hit the search bar. I'm not going to do that until I start recording. Because if you've ever been on Google Earth, when you put the address in and hit enter, it comes in from space and it comes down and zooms in and circles around and goes right over their home. It's pretty cool, but you get their attention by doing this. Okay. So again, like there's my house, whatever, and it starts doing this hovers around. Okay. And then, here's kind of the script, and let me, I got to move this thing around here. So, hey, Joe, it's been a little while since I've given you an updated evaluation of your home. Most people like keeping up on their home's value, especially with the shifting market. I just wanted to send you a quick video showing you what's active for sale right now that you would be competing with if you were getting ready to sell your house, plus similar homes that are under contract and have sold in the last 3 months. Okay. So I'll say this in the video while Google Earth is going, whatever. And then I've got tabs opened up because I've done this ahead of time. Okay. Which again takes all of 5 minutes to do. I've gone out, half a mile around their house. I've looked up comparable homes on their house, and I've got these tabs open. So I can just quickly give them an overview of those homes, the actives that are similar to their house, the pendings and the solds. So you don't have to memorize a script. You don't have to do anything. The info is right there in front of you. Okay. I will take, I'll figure out the kind of the price per square foot of the solds, and I give them a range. I'm not going to give them an exact number. Okay. And you'll see why, because I don't know the exact number. I haven't been in their house for however long it's been. Okay. So I usually do like a 5 to 7% range. That's what I've learned to do of what their house would sell for, in the current market. Right. And then I might have some of these, then I will also have one more tab open. I got a net sheet. So I've got like kind of the range of what their house would sell for, minus the closing costs, whatever they are in your area, title fees, that kind of stuff. I'll put in there maybe, you're also going to have prorations plus your mortgage, whatever that is. And you can figure out kind of, what your house would, what you'd walk away with right now if you were selling your house. Okay. So then I'll just kind of, if you're thinking of selling anytime soon and want a more exact number, it'd be easier for me to stop by for 5 to 10 minutes and get a quick look at your house. Just let me know. Okay, so all you're doing, you're not asking for business, you're not asking for anything, but you'd be surprised. Some of these people, especially ones that bought 5, 6 years ago, they maybe are considering right now. They want to call you up to have you come over to get a more exact number. Okay, so here's one way to get in the door. But never ask them for if they want to list the house, just give them value. The subject line on the email goes out, 123 Main Street valuation update. And that's what I send out. And then I end the video with this right here. I hope this is helpful. If I can ever be a resource in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. If you know anybody that might want an evaluation of their home, send them to me. It's the highest compliment you can ever give me, and I always appreciate it. Okay, and I end the video. 3 to 5 minutes, I'm done. It takes me 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most to actually do this. And I email out one of these. You can do one of these a day and just send it out. If you use BombBomb or something like that, what's nice, you can actually see, when they actually open the email. If you go a few days and you see they haven't opened the email, which by the way, BombBomb, you can connect that in your KV core. It's in there. You don't have to use that. You use whatever you want, but you can send it out that way. If they haven't opened it for a few days, I might reach out to them through a text to let them know that, hey, I sent you a video. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, just give you a quick update on your home. Have a great day, whatever. But then sometimes you'll see this too. 6 months later, all of a sudden they've opened up the email. So now what do? You call them up, you follow them up. All of a sudden now they're looking at this thing. Okay. So anyway, just something that is working. Like I said, this guy in this group that I'm a part of, he was doing this. Let me go back here. Hold on a minute. Anyway, this guy, he sent out 5 of these a day. he'd sent out 72 videos, and after 72 videos, he had $11 million in listings between people that got back to him and then people that they referred him to. And again, so it's an unsolicited video CMA. They haven't asked for it. You're just doing it. Hey, there's a shift in the market. Just want to give you an update on your house, whatever. I know we haven't talked in a long time. Hope you're doing well. And then you go through the numbers. But anyway, hopefully maybe that was helpful. Just an idea that you can do that's working really well for a lot of people. This group that I'm doing some work with, and I started doing here recently, and we're starting to get some feet in the door. So any questions out of that at all? Just a thought, just a tip. Maybe that's helpful for some people. Anything? Cool. Any last thoughts from anybody? Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Stephanie, she's, we mentioned it earlier, the website learnshortsales.live. You can register for that. You can send that out to people. Part 2 is tomorrow. Part 3 next Wednesday. Part 4 the Wednesday after that. Great series that you can invite anybody to. You don't have to be an EXP agent to be able to get that info. So you want to say anything about that, Stephanie, before we wrap things up?
Yeah, no, tomorrow we'll be diving into, how to properly represent a deal to the bank so that you get to the closing table, so that the short sale actually means it's a short sale, meaning it doesn't take 6 months or better. We try to harness that into the 90-day period or less. And so we're going to do a deep dive into how to properly present it to the bank and everything that you need to do. And so the true negotiation of it, so that these are successful for you. And I know when I was jumping on late today, I heard Jeff talk about, the short sales aren't going to be what they were in 2008. And that's true. That's very, very true. But one of the reasons why we're teaching this is because one of the things that has happened over the course of the last several years is that people did refinance for these low rates. And what are happening is that they did these ARMs. And so a lot of these notes are going to be coming due. And now when they go to the refinance table, they're not going to get the 2.67%. And so this is something that's going to be there as a problem solve alternative. You may never sell it short of what is owed to the bank, but also too, we know that people were paying 50, 75, 200,000 over asking price as well. And so really what we're doing is arming you with ammunition for the event that it does become that opportunity, and not to shy away from the business, because I've made millions of dollars doing short sales, and I'm just here to share all the knowledge that helped me make all those millions of dollars in doing short sales. So it's good, valuable stuff. I should be charging for it, but I'm not.
Heck yeah. No, and I think what I was saying, I think, Stephanie, was we're not going to see the foreclosures that we saw in 2000. I don't believe, but short sales, absolutely. And it's a great thing to get armed up on and get ready for it as far as the short sales, for sure.
What's cool now is when you look at how to find them and you look for less pendants filings, the cool thing is that a lot of them, that are already hitting the foreclosure state, they're not selling short of what's owed, right? Because the market hasn't corrected that drastically. So we're listing them and they're not even becoming short sales, but we're still solving the problem. We're still coming to the rescue of that property owner, and we still are making great money. And so that's what all of this is about. And even if it's not going to be a short sale, you still submit the paperwork to the bank so that the bank is aware that they can just push the pause button, right? You're handling the situation. The property owner that owes the debt is handling the situation. They're not rushing to take this house into inventory or the property into inventory. They don't want to. One of the companies that I deal with often is a holding company. They do all the Wells Fargo servicing of debt. Okay. Wells Fargo is the largest lender when it comes to residential home mortgages. They're the largest. Right? You all saw the news 2 months ago. And if you didn't Google this, Wells Fargo's getting out of the residential loan business. Why? Because they're screwed. They have over 986,000 properties right now that have to get foreclosed on. So yes, they're not going to be 2 million, but there's quite a few of them that are hitting that bucket. And that's because everybody rushed to go get these ARM mortgages over the last couple of years, right? And so that's the issue for it. Not to mention layoffs and things of that nature. So it is coming. It already is. There was 782 filed last week in my county that I reside in. Well, not reside in, do business in. So there's 782 opportunities for me or somebody to go out and make money. We'll do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you have, is part one from last week, is that available for people to watch?
It is,
anywhere
and
at
we've
this
we've
point?
already, yeah, we've got that, and then we'll get that posted in the work. Kim, I'll send it to you so you can post it in the YouTube channel, but also on we'll post it on Workplace, and then we're gonna post these like a week after we do them, because here's the thing: you learn the best when you show up and are able to ask questions. These are interactive classes. This is not you showing up and me talking the whole time. I want you to ask questions. I want you to challenge me. I want you to kick back and push back on me and say, this is why I can't get a short sale listed, or you tell me why, right? I mean, you know, these are for you guys to go and you know, make a whole new living for yourself in addition to how you already get your business. So but yes, we're going to post those out there. We're also, the reason why we're doing registration links is so that if you invite somebody to this course, it asks them who invited you. And then that way I can let you know that, hey, your person registered, follow up with them and see if they watched it. You know, what we don't want to do is take this video and share it out to the masses, because then they have no reason to come and explore why EXP is so freaking awesome.
There you go.
Okay.
Good. Stephanie, I
Awesome, you
appreciate
all.
being on here. Thank you. And Andy and Sean and Jamie, Michael, the Icon Agents, great to have you. Great to have everybody on here. We appreciate it every Tuesday, same time. Stephanie's class tomorrow morning, same time. Okay, same Zoom link, but you can register, learnshortsales.live. Be sure to do that. Level 2 of agent attraction training Thursday at the same time. A lot going on here at Freedom Team. You can find everything on the freedomteamsupport.com website or the Freedom Team workplace group. We get everything going in there. Let's keep that going. A lot of interaction going there. Questions anytime. A lot of us are there to help chime in, okay, and collaborate. So, guys, appreciate it. Have a great Tuesday. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks all.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.